There are two attributes in HTML that can be applied to almost every element on top of every other one that we've already covered. These are the ID and class attributes. These both refer to CSS, but the main difference between a class and an ID is just as it sounds. An ID is like your social security number or your social insurance number. It is unique, and only one of these should ever exist on any page and style sheet. For example, there's only one person in your country with your social security number or social insurance number. And a class is the opposite. Multiple elements can have the same class, thus making it not unique. Right now this might not make a whole lot of sense, so we'll break this down together. IDs. To create an ID in a style sheet, we start the selector with a number sign. Remember that the selector is the stuff before the opening curly bracket. So this here would be your selector. Because we have a number sign in front of it, that would make this selector an ID. To access the CSS from your HTML, you'd use, for example, a div element. It could be any element. You type ID, and your ID value is test. Just like our ID up here is test, this one is test. But in HTML, we always leave out the number sign. So in our test ID, we changed the font color to blue. We gave the div ID same name. This part is case sensitive. If you wrote test with a lowercase t instead of test with an uppercase t, then your text in here would no longer be blue, because this in here has to match this. Now the CSS portion is actually not case sensitive at all, but the ID and classes are case sensitive. They have to match up perfectly. So just as a quick right and wrong, the right way to do it is if you have a CSS class with my ID, they're all capital letters except for the Y, which is a lowercase, and it should match all capital letters except for lowercase ID. What's wrong is if you use the exact same CSS ID, but in your HTML you use all lowercase. If you want to apply the same styling from our test ID to more than one element, you must use a class instead. Here's another example of IDs being used wrong. We have a paragraph and a div. They both have IDs, and the IDs are the exact same. Both elements have the ID of paragraph. Now this is kind of like someone using your government ID. Two people are not allowed to share the same piece of ID. That's fraud. This follows the same principle. Now instead of using two of the same ID, we can use a class. If you want to use the same styling two or more elements that you've written in your CSS, we would use a class instead of an ID, like so. Instead of a number sign, we use a period. And in our HTML, instead of ID, we write class. And this is correct. This will allow both elements, both our paragraph and div, to show our text as the color blue. The difference between class and ID in our code is that IDs use a number sign and a class uses a period. All we did from the code above was we changed our test ID to a class. And then we applied the class attribute in our HTML element. You can remember when to use a class like this. There are two or more students in a classroom, and you treat them all the same. Now you can give an element an ID as well as multiple classes at the same time, and the element will gain styling from everything you give it. So here we have a section element, which is from HTML5. We gave it the ID of unique ID, and we gave it three classes: underline, italic, and bold. Now assuming that this is what our CSS looks like down here, we have our ID, which is unique ID. Again, this matches up here. Border is equal to 1 pixel, solid, red. Then we have a class for underline. Text decoration is equal to underline. Then we have class italic, and our text style is italic. And then we have class bold, and our font weight is bold. Then our section element from above would look exactly like this. We have our red border, it's underlined, it's italic, and it's bold. So it has the properties from our ID and all three classes. Now if you want to add more than one class, it's very easy. All you have to do is separate it with a space. If we wanted to only apply one class to this, we would just write underline. Or we could write just bold. If we wanted to add italic, we do that, and bold. Or if we wanted all of those and underline. So you see what I'm doing? All I'm doing is adding that space there. And that's what an ID in a class is.